Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another AshenCast. It is me once again, gentleman of leisure, at your service, so to speak. Far too lazy to actually do anything. But now, moving on to the assorted rabble I have gathered about me this week. Everyone say hi or yell some sort of something at the very least. So, say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Striking and soul-shaking as ever. But now, moving on to the business in hand. We are back once more, as I always say, but alas, I find myself co-hostless once more. But, not for want of trying. Few people have, okay, the position is slightly cursed, but the less said about that, the better. But so, moving on. Recent events. Anyone here, my lovely guests, who, as people might recognise, is Dark Onyx, and of course, Shadow sulking in the shadows as always. And of course, we have our special guest this week, Gin Hotaru, or Meena to the guild, or various names.
No.
Oh, do explain.
Oh, the names are Gin Hotaru. It's said in Japanese pronunciation, so the vowels are a bit different.
See, ladies and gentlemen, I learned something today, and I hope you have too. But yes, moving on. First things first, recent events. Anything fun going around in this wonderful world we called Guild Wars 2 lately? Anyone at all? Recent events? Any shenanigans? The good old fun stuff. Come on.
Well, I'll explain a lot of mine during the next segment, but I'm not sure about everyone else.
Anyone? Throwing the bone out here? Come on. Anyone got any recent shenanigans they'd like to highlight this week, or little observations as we wander around once more? As I myself, once again, have managed to spawn in a room after logging in, and of course found two people naked in the bed. Again, I've really got to stop logging out in little RP locations. I always find ERP when I log in. Not for any intention, mind you, it's just always there. But yes, so
well, you don't mind it.
Oh no, it's just quite funny, because there's usually a silence in the room as this guy in pink spawns in and just slowly backs out. Just staring. But yeah, so anything recent events? Come on, people.
We could talk about Yohara losing her, Polly losing her eye if Sin feels like telling us the story.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we tune in for. How on earth did you lose an eye?
Is Perry there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you want to begin, or do you want them to tell them what happened?
You can start. You know the full story better than I do.
Alright.
That's Perry's gift.
Making sure my dog
returning
doesn't randomly come in here with a parent. My parents are being weird tonight. Alright. Basically what happened is, I won't name members of the community because we're trying to keep the drama down, but basically what happened is Joe was in a relationship, that's Johara, one of my main roleplay characters, was in a relationship with someone else in the community, and then she basically kind of initiated the guy, and he pulled out because of a problem that happened, and then when this happened, when he pulled out, she told him not to talk about it. She said, let's never talk about this, and he had agreed to it. The relationship would go back to was earlier, and then the guild's secret police, the Shadow, because my character is Shadow, so they're watching her more likely than anyone else, wouldn't kill them. And what ended up happening is this particular person ended up talking about it, and to the point where it got back to one of the Van Skivers. And there had been this really extensive storyline with a member of the Van Skyver family who has now been mind-wiped. We had to do that for a few reasons, I won't get into it specifically. But that person was in love with the person that my character had been with at one point. This created a really weird dynamic. Joe was basically getting called up by Toxa left and right, going, Amal, what is up with this man with my... And it just got to the point where they found out that the guy had said something. And so Joe was called in to set him up. And so she tried to double-cross and save him and save the girl to kind of get them to get away from everything. That's what she was trying to do. In the end, Joe was called up by the Master of Shadow, her boss basically, and was basically told, if you don't do this, she was given a few different options, including your house will be completely destroyed, you'll be enslaved, or you can let one of your loved ones get maimed, and then you get tortured. And she selected the torture, and this resulted in her lover, Pally, who she recently has proposed to in a very informal manner, had her eye removed. And yes, my character is not gay, she's bisexual, everybody seems to think she's gay. And it was a very interesting storyline. We had my character running around in the middle of the Golden Sun, kind of crazed out. And it was pretty interesting story-wise, and it's a great example of how you can do dynamic change, but also for the fact that if I did the other choices, I would have fucked up the entire house, which is a bunch of other people. So I took the option which made sure that I didn't get too much dynamic change that would have thrown people too much of a, I don't know, thrown them for, I don't want, the idiom is leaving me, but I picked the solution that had a consequence, but wouldn't suddenly toss hours upon hours of roleplay out the window.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are many TV shows out and books, many things, such as The Borgias, and more recently Game of Thrones. Well, we have just proven, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't need any of that. Just log into Guild Wars 2 and things like this happen. Only within a roleplay community, ladies and gentlemen, does stuff of this caliber happen. I must say, characters like myself...
this sort of thing, and... Oh, sorry.
No, do go on.
Some of the stuff I've been through, I never have this stuff happen to me. This is, like, the stuff that's happened to me is like child's play in comparison to the stuff I hear that goes on here. Go on.
Just in background, there's a vision of my characters doing a line of drugs and just going, man, you guys be crazy. Because, I mean, it's just like we discussed in the previous podcast, the fact that it's just that this caliber of global things that go on. It's good dynamic IP at the end of the day. It's really good to see an entire community where literally ripples in the pond, so to speak. It's really good to see. Well structured, well thought out. I mean, we'll be getting the High Society in next time on the podcast. Quick shout out for that. And so we'll be able to find even more of all this high-class drama, the things that go on behind closed doors, the so-called elite of Divinity's Reach. But now, veering back onto our schedule and interview our guest this evening. First things first, I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to pretend to. I'm just going to say, what is your character? What is your character? That's the first thing. Or characters, as it may be. Just first off, names. Who are we talking about this week?
Well, I have two characters that I roleplay with, and one of them is my first character, Nashira, called Meena, and her nick, and she's a bit of an eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a human character called Gin Hotaru, and she's a Canthan. And she's, I'd call her spirited. I think that's how I'd explain her.
Rude, brash, forward.
Yeah. She's a bit different for noble. She doesn't really comply to many of the noble rules. Well,
you're fitting well
about.
here. We have everything from we have the angels of the community all the way down to the drug-taking fallen noble. So you're in good company, to say the least. But yes, so what do they do in the guild, which is Ashenfold, for anyone who's thinking?
Meena herself has recently transferred. She originally applied and she was in the Blade as a technologist. She didn't really invent anything of importance. She mostly spent most of her time inventing useless contraptions that did nothing and turning people into animals. So she
suddenly Dr.
grew
Moreau.
close. Yeah. She suddenly grew close to one of her colleagues that she travelled around the world with, who was a Norn shaman. They kind of studied a lot of the stuff together, and then she transferred over to the Tome to go see him. But then their schedules grow apart, and so she's been rather bored lately, and she just pretty much spends most of her time in the library.
Oh. And, because we got lots to cover, so I'm not going to get too much in the general Q&A. Moving on to, we're going to try and split this into two here. The actual RP in-character background you've established for yourself, and then we'll move on into the nice sort of out-of-character background, as in, what have you where's this all come from, the character basics, that kind of thing. So first things first,
Okay.
how about your in-character background? Where do these two come from? Because especially with the Canthons, because that's always a specific. Because for my laws right here, the Canthons just turn up in like districts. There's a small. I know there's a small society of them around. It's just that the actual Canthon homeland is very shrouded in mystery, and no contact's been made for years. So I'm very interested personally, and for anyone else who doesn't know that much about the Canthons, about how you dealt with that as a character, because I'm really interested to find out what you consider your background.
Well, creating my Canthon character probably took the most amount of effort. I originally made her because I was interested in making a character that wasn't an Ascalonian, and I had to research quite a bit. I'd never played Guild Wars 1, so her history is that her family moved to Kryta area around 250 years ago. They made a deal with the upper class up in Canthon, left with the last push of the Tengu out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought most of their workers with them so they could continue a business and have a sustainable life in Kryta.
Oh,
and that's kind of how they started.
The actual house uprooted itself and moved home, basically.
Just the main branch. 2 of the sub-branches stayed in Canthon, kind of trying to hope to weave that in when they eventually bring it back. Get the feeling they will.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fantastic. I mean, that's one of the great things about Guild Wars 2 is the fact that this sort of stuff is incorporated in. I mean, like you said myself, I've not actually played the first one either, so I have to read heavily into the lore. So it's, but the way they're openly talking about free, updates and stuff like that in Guild Wars 2, which is amazing. Let's all be frank about that. So I can, if they did open up the Canthon territories, that would be amazing. How they explain it. I mean, the obvious Mr. Pandora joke there, but I'm not going to go there because, the Canthons are very different.
It was a bit difficult. And Meena herself was actually an Ashura who wasn't raised in Ratasum. She was raised in Lion Arch, and because her parents worked there. And she's got a really dramatic past that I just thought was really over the top at the time, and I was just like, why not? It led her to become kind of the insane character she is. Pretty much what happened is that her parents died during a gate malfunction. The gate exploded, and they both got caught in the blast. And she was left to search through the whole city, pretty much, for her parents the whole time. And the last thing she was talking to her parents about was how she had to go off to Ratasum to go to college and study hard and become like a great prodigy, etc. And so she was like, hey, did they leave because they wanted me to become a great prodigy? And so she's dedicated her life to learning as much as she can because she believes that they've just gone away because she's not good enough. She knows they're dead now, but at the time she was like, I'll come back if I'm good, right? If I'm not selfish and if I study hard and work hard. So,
cheery people in the Ashenfold, I'm just going to say that. God. Actually, I mean, this could be a bit off topic here. Out of curiosity, I mean, are there any characters out there that still have their parents? Because during my Old Republic days, I was part of a guild. Our guild, we actually did a quick tally for a joke to see who was orphaned, and I think it was like a majority is like, oh, parents died. And it was like, okay, what we've drawn from a conclusion is parents dying early on in life leads to a life of criminality in Star Wars. So really, Luke should not become a Jedi. He should become a criminal, and everyone else would have been happier. Just saying. Oh, no, noticed that? I mean...
Gin still has both of her parents. They're both alive, and she's... With her parents and her relationship with her parents are a bit different from everyone else. She doesn't address her parents as their names. She just addresses them as father, mother. I actually know her own parents' first names. It's like a family tradition that passes down.
Yeah, cool.
So it's like my biggest pet peeve. It's my biggest pet peeve when someone just comes up and goes, "Oh, Hotaru," and I'm like, "No one knows my character's name. Stop it."
I think I've met your character. I don't even know your name, and it was. I think didn't we get into a talk about that? It's like I never reveal my real name, and we basically got into a small debate over what the importance of names.
Yeah, she never does. She often just introduces herself as Gin, and if anyone wants any further information, she'll generally call herself Silver or another nickname.
Yeah, I mean, If I remember correctly, wasn't the RP we did based on the lines of, I'll never reveal my true name. My character turned around, pretty drunk at the time, and just said, well, I'll never ask for it because I don't care.
Pretty much.
There's a good dialogue between those two. It was like, don't care meets don't give a fuck, sort of. It was a weird sort of standoff of just mutual shrug. The sort of grey alignment, which was quite fun. But, moving on to sort of our character background here, I mean, we've had many people come onto here with different backgrounds into regards to different games, different settings, and some people even say they brought characters over, to simply transplanted them from previous games. So, I mean, you got any claims there?
To be honest, I sound like another idiot. Like, this is the first time I've ever in-game role-played in an MMO ever in Guild Wars 2.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so Guild Wars 2 kind of... I already bought Guild Wars 2 and I hadn't played any of the betas or anything. I was just waiting for the official release because I had university and busy and whatnot. And I was looking into guilds, and all my friends in New Zealand, because I'm from New Zealand, were going to join the unofficial Oceanic server. And I had played so many games with my friends. Like, I'd played with Tor, I played World of Warcraft, like all the way from like classic to, Wrath Lich King, and then I stopped there. But I'd just always done the same thing, and I'd always been interested in the roleplay society, but none of my friends were interested in that side of the game, and so I took a chance. And asked my friends if they knew anything about roleplay societies in Guild Wars 2, and my friend did some research and showed me the AshenCast website, and I pretty much just fell in love and applied. And within the first day of role-playing, I'd found like what I'd been missing from MMOs. That sounds cheesy.
That's fantastic, really. I mean, that's the shame, really. When your friends aren't into it, it's hard to actually just sort of branch into it. I mean, I'm quite lucky because most of my friends are into the tabletop roleplay, and so in-game roleplay only came naturally, really, when it came to actually getting online. I mean, I only started online roleplay myself when I hit World of Warcraft, which was interesting. I mean, I had some fun times. I mean, you probably surprised me, of all people. I was actually part of a military guild for a long time. I was on detailed patrols of the city and all sorts. I mean, none of that we are the city watch nonsense, because no one ever respects anyone pretending to be that sort of authority, because you've got no real backup. I mean, I must sound so arrogant because I'm not really explaining it well, but someone turns up claiming to be the police and you don't look like it. Well, yeah.
That's quite interesting. I had a character from the our association who's standing right beside my character at the moment. Show up and claim he was a seraph. And Gin was just like, what? You look like a barbarian stripper. You can't be a seraph looking like a barbarian stripper.
Sting operation.
So horrible.
Clearly a sting operation. Trying to, legal stripper police, something. Basically, I'm trying to make a handcuff joke here, but it's not really coming naturally right now. But yeah, I mean, you've very clearly got a well-stocked portfolio when it comes to games. That's very clear. I mean, I, for one, really, for me, I started witnessing RP, just walking along, and then all of a sudden hearing something, because, Say's got a ridiculous radius in some games. Even more so with actions. So I usually used to hang out on the side. I even got approached by a guild once, and I said, literally, just for the purpose of story, please ignore me. I am literally watching out of interest. Which is quite interesting, because it's fun to be part of, but there's some really sort of great stories out there if you actually just take the time to listen and watch. I mean, I used to sit in the tavern just to see what it was all about, and I'd see these stories, people loving and crying, that kind of thing. Just the whole spectrum of stories going on around me, and I was really impressed, which eventually led me to actually taking the plunge myself, and now I can't leave.
Well, yeah, I am out of character. In real life, I'm a massive LARPer. I'm live action role player. I'm part of New Zealand live action roleplay society, and every 6 months we have New Zealand's biggest live action roleplay, which is about 200-300 people. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of people, but in New Zealand, that's a lot of people.
I think anywhere that's a lot of people.
A 5-day event, and we just go at it. It's just really a lot of fun, and I do ECA, and So
Only
it was
50
kind of
survived,
natural
ladies and
getting
gentlemen.
into it.
Only 50 survived, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know. Sorry, I just had to be over dramatic with it.
It's okay, cool. Next question. Shoot.
Moving on to any particular favourite RP moments? Anything particular stick out in your mind? Because we've had some interesting ones so far, and I'd like to add yours to the list.
With my character's kind of first initiation into the guild with Gin, I like both the initiations for my characters, but Gin's one was a bit interesting. She met up with the two legates, well, one legate and Toxa in the Maiden's Whisper, I'm pretty sure it was, and later on, Toxa wanted to test her abilities. And the first task was that she had to pickpocket someone and then give him the wallet, and then he was like, cool, now take it back to who you pickpocketed it to. And so, Gin, at this moment in time, is pretty upset. She doesn't like being told what to do. She doesn't respect pretty much anyone's authority except her father's.
I mean, that's a bit risky,
then,
joining a criminal organisation.
I know! But she's a little brat. She's just... She's kind of got this, like, mightier than thou, like, look down on everyone kind of thing.
I've noticed that, to say the least, considering that when you first met, the leader of the criminal organisation.
She doesn't want to accept the fact that she has to listen to other people, and that she can't decide everything.
It's volatile.
Toxa, the next event is that Toxa took her to the next bar, and they went to the Maiden's Whisper again, and he told her to seduce a Norn. And
That's
Gin's rather
Toxa.
uncomfortable. Yeah, she was rather uncomfortable with this. And so she was like, fine, and so she started buying drinks with this Norn and talking to him. And then I was like... And then my character's just like, okay, this isn't working. He's obviously not attracted to me. And so my character just starts breaking down, starts crying. And the Norn just gets really worried. He's like, what's the matter? And I lean in and I whisper to this Norn. And Toxa, I literally could feel his panic in the background. But I'd whispered to this Norn, I'm like, do you see that shady man in black behind me? One with all the feathers? And he's like... And then the one's like, yes, little one, I see this shady man. I'm like, he's been stalking me for 2 weeks. I can't get rid of him. And, pretty much what happened within the moment is that the Norn lifted up the table he was standing next to and threw the table at Toxa, knocking
Epic
him
table flip.
unconscious. So, that
Ladies and
was a
gentlemen,
fun
I give
scene,
you the woman that has, as a part of initiation, insulted the head of a high society, which goes down all the way down into the criminality, drug dealers and thugs and killers, all the way up to the high societies of Divinity's Reach. And for her initiation, she got the leader unconscious. I'd like to think that's some sense of achievement in itself, but also highly dangerous.
And so she just dragged him outside, and then they had a fight, and they kind of walked off. And my other favourite moment is probably when Meena, the day after she was initiated, pretty much, also to do with Toxa, sadly, she got him naked for science.
For science.
And yeah, it was a bit more complicated than that. She was just like, I need like anatomy sketches, and ever since she's placed a tracker on his body, and he's never been able to find it.
Oh, for the love of...
Yeah, I know.
He believes
Toxa,
my character's just to torment him.
Again, you do realize... He has power over life or death of an entire sect.
You got to remember, Mina's first nickname for Toxa is Pretty Face. And now she believes that he is God Emperor.
Wait, what?
I thought it was Toxic.
Yeah. Pretty Face Toxa was the original game shortened to Pretty Face. She has a nickname for everyone, because she can't remember human names. Gin has kind of a nickname for everyone as well, just because she doesn't respect everyone, but it's never anything as, like, silly. Like, she calls Toxa Feather Duster. She calls, Ileana Miss Tryhard, because Ileana's always, like, trying to get this attention. and trying her best to do everything, in a sense. Like, she wants to be this great archer, but she doesn't have the years practice to do it.
Yeah, and then doesn't Meena calls Talbus Kitty and Grax Whiskers.
Yeah.
That is rather popular. I got some cat names for Char are very popular.
But
Like,
I don't mind Kitty at all or Whiskers. It's a lot better than some of the other derogatory names that could be said about a Char, but they're pretty funny.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard worse walking past taverns. I mean, the fact that I've actually walked past a tavern and the words "take the knot" was yelled out is probably one of the most disturbing moments of my life. But you know what? It's an MMO. It happens. Damn you, taverns. That's all I'm going to say to that.
Yeah,
Tavern
so
RP.
those are some of my favourite scenes. I don't know really.
I mean, dare I ask what she calls Gabe? Considering there's a
What she
nickname
calls
throwdown
Gabe?
between them.
Oh, she just thinks you're terrifying. She just
What?
doesn't want to be associated with you at all.
Terrifying? She acts way more cocky. I never actually picked up any fear from her.
Yeah, I know. She will never show her fear. She's kind of conditioned to do that. Like, but she's scared of you. She's just
What?
doesn't want to be like when
Pink
she
fluffy Gabe?
She shot Cybrus, and Cybrus was like, "I'm a legate. I have to tell your legate that you're in trouble." And she was like, "Oh God, please not Gabe. Don't tell Gabe. Please don't tell Gabe." And he's like, "You're freaking out." She's just like, "No, just please, just take it to someone else. Please, just tell Ophelia instead."
Wow, I'm partly proud and also astonished. You roleplay your character with
You
her
got to remember,
cards
the
close to her
first
chest.
meeting, he grabbed her by the neck and dangled her over a bridge.
You threatened to break his fingers
So?
for calling you darling.
And stop calling her darling!
Oh, don't call her that anymore. It's
Damn
now
it.
Wallflower, remember?
Yeah, I know.
As you suggested. I mean, if anyone's wondering why it's Wallflower, it's because the particular breed Gabriel likes of a Wallflower is stubborn, short-lived, and also... What was the full description you gave me?
They're short-lived, stubborn, and they're kind of like weeds in a sense. They climb their
beautiful.
way up. Yeah.
Yeah, climbs their way up as well, which is a good way to put it. Because you're ambitious.
But yeah.
Again,
trying
ladies and
to
gentlemen,
think
see,
of a
good dynamic RP there. I mean, I really did not think my character got through to you at all, because you're just so brash and
She
just
is.
headstrong.
But she'll never let anyone know that she's terrified of them if they're in front of her. But when you're not around, she'll just be like, she'll do everything to avoid you.
Oh,
So-
poor Gabe. He's so sociable and so lovable. Though I must say I'm quite
But yeah.
proud of the fact that the statement, "What aren't you on?" came up in conversation. I must say I'm very proud of that, considering Gabriel's legendary drug habit at this stage.
Yeah, so... What's
Now,
the next question? I love
The
these
next,
questions.
the next one for you is now. Well, I think this really answers itself already. But I mean, seeing as you're new to it already, would you consider yourself a light, medium, or heavy role player? Because so far, most people consider themselves medium to heavy. I mean, this guild itself can be quite heavy if you fully invest yourself, but still has enough flexibility for you to be medium or even light, as long as you make the commitment. That's one of the big things.
I think I'd probably level myself in medium to heavy as well. Like, I actually spend a way more time role-playing on my characters than I do leveling. I probably... Even when I was leveling as my character Meena, I only leveled as roleplay leveling from about level 30 onwards. I didn't level unless I was with my roleplay leveling partner, Roban, and we got to pretty much level 80 together.
I'm so
So,
jealous.
that was
I'm
really
still at
good.
level 36.
Like, we roleplayed everything. Like, if an event happened and, like, my character got knocked unconscious or something, we'd come up with something that happened. Like, there was a massive explosion next to Meena and she got, like, flown. She flew pretty much across this massive area and there died. And, she had, like, part of her hearing gone for, like, quite a while. And to assure her your hearing's really important.
Mhm.
So, it was pretty dramatic. And she lost her balance and she's had, like, golems explode near her and had like chunks of like, you know, inquest tech stuck in her body, and she gets hurt a lot.
Aww. School of Hard Knocks. with a degree in getting the shit kicked out of me comes to mind. So definitely hardened by the world round you, to say the least.
Yeah. I try to incorporate as much as I can of what's happening around my character.
I mean, I've tried that. I've never actually RP'd on the go though. I'm usually at events when I do my things. Mostly, either that or I'm yelling down the.
It's a lot different. It's quite interesting because you get a different feel. Because it's really weird because Meena, with like the character models, say really different things than what Meena would say if she was in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like Meena names all of her minions. She's a bit unique that way, and she
minions
uses them. She's a necromancer.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she's a necromancer, but she thinks all of her minions. Like she's kind of she hallucinates a lot, but because of how her brain works, not because she's on drugs like your character.
Oh, low blow, but entirely true.
But so she actually sees her like little minions as different things. Like she thinks her little blood beast, the one that dangles and steals life for her, is a bouquet of flowers. And
wow.
So wait, she's got the flame guy. Wait, what? She's got the vision that the flamethrower. People are gonna kill me. That the flamethrower character from TF2 does.
Yep.
She has pyrovision.
God,
amazing. We have pyrovision, ladies and gentlemen, completely explained right here.
Yeah, and so she'll explain one of her inventions as something, but then if someone else uses the invention, it'll be a completely different thing. Like she said she invented a gun that shoots potatoes, but it was just a normal rifle. And
for those big potatoes that puts holes into people in the background, it's just a rifle.
she snuck into the cartel. She didn't mean to go there. She was in her lab and she saw this cartel crate going by. They're delivering some Ashura tech to the Blade. I think it was at the time the Blade. Yeah, and she thought she was a pirate captain at the time, and that they were stealing her treasure. And
ladies and gentlemen, only in these sort of places would you find the words she thought she was a pirate captain at the time. This is what I do love about RP communities, is the fact that lines like that appear from characters, and you've got to admit, it's bloody fabulous, isn't it?
And let's just say she jumped into the next box, and when the box was opened, instead of finding the crate of Ashura explosives they wanted, they found a little Ashura sitting there, glaring at them, telling them, "You'll never take my loot from me!"
And then what happened next was, can we keep it?
No, pretty much what happened next was, the Char character who's initiating my character, Peria's Char, I can't remember her name. Aquesta, that's the one. I know you've got the other one, so. Aquesta was like, well, we have to kill you. And she was like, no, don't kill me, I can be useful. I promise.
I'll
that's
take
pretty much what happened.
I'll take my pirate crew to work, or I assume that illusion had dropped and she had something else in mind at the time.
Yeah, she phases out a lot as well. Like, if you mention Dolyax, she'll just phase out and, like, go into this separate state of mind and just be standing there and kind of a daze.
Yeah,
she
but
loves
in all fairness, Dolyaks are pretty amazing. Everyone wants a mini pet Dolyak. Everyone.
If
that was a pet, everyone would want one, I bet you. Plus, they're a lifeline in World v World, so highly appreciative. Everyone values the power of a Dolyak. Okay, that may actually have to become an event now, Dolyak Appreciation Month. Have you appreciated your Dolyak? Petted Dolyak today.
So, what else do we get to talk about in this amazing interview?
Well, we've not moved on to the second section yet. We're just going to wrap up the first one, which is, as a role player, what would you say sets your characters apart from others? I mean, because when it comes down to it, there's always the fear of the Mary Sues out there, and but you know, with some good help from the community as a whole, people come up with some really interesting and really dynamic and different characters. And what would you say has set you apart from all those you've met in characters so far?
I think when I set my characters apart is that when I create my characters, I give them flaws straight away. Like, Gin's major flaw is that she cannot detect magic at all. She has no kind of real connection to the mists.
Bit of a dull one.
She was born as a twin, and her twin died young, and for some reason, when they were born, he got the magical prowess of the family, and she was given nothing. And so, if someone places wards down, or magic wards down, etc., etc., she can't see them, she'll step on them and trigger them and get really hurt.
Ouch.
So she has to have someone tell her where they are. And I also think her personality is a big flaw, because it gets her into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but that's part of the concept, really. When you build a character, there's always a core concept, really.
But, and also, Meena's one is that Meena is an extremely lonely character. She does everything to try and keep... It just sounds really weird, like, she distances herself from her own people in the fact that she doesn't research new ideas. She goes back and researches old things, and she's constantly reading up on, like, sociodynamics and trying to branch out to make friends. Like, she's trying to be the wingman of, like, 10 people at the moment. She's like, I'll be your wingman, I'll help you get a mate. Like, you know, the...
Exact words.
Yeah, it's just awkward because she's like a 3-footer sheriff.
Adorable, frankly, in its own way. Just wants to be loved. Don't we all?
Yeah, I know.
Moving away until we get all philosophical on each other. Okay, I think we're all dying to ask this one, which is, where the hell did these characters come from? What was the basis of all these? Especially stuff like the idea of hallucinating what the actual minions are with necromancy. I mean, that's what I've not heard before.
When I was creating Meena, I am currently still playing a Serenity campaign with a few friends, with my flatmates actually. And what's happened is that there's a character in our game, and he has got this trait called Leaky Brain, which allows him to have the rooms described differently to him. And so I kind of applied that mechanic to Meena, because I was like, hey, it'd be cool to walk around and just be like, hey, look, the trees are made out of cotton candy. And everyone's like, what? I just think she's just...
That's actually really impressive. I love that in RPG games. I mean, stereotypically, right off the bat, Malkavians, I love the fact that in some games I've read, people it's like, oh, you go into this room. Okay, there's a Malkavian in the party of Vampire the Masquerade. Okay, this is what it actually looks like to you. I love that different mindset, because sometimes it just adds such flavour to something, I mean, rather than the simple... I mean, it's nice to spice things up at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, well... And then, Gin, I actually based off of, loosely based her design off of a character I, really enjoyed out of one of my favourite one-shot manga. And the manga's called Hotaru bi no Mori e, which means In the Light of the Fireflies Forest. It's a bit of a dramatic thing, and the main character's called Gin, and he's a spirit who was once human, and if anyone touches him, he vanishes. He'll vanish forever. So,
wow,
that's pretty much... I based her design off of him, and I kind of took the storyline and her family history and the family legends from my love of Japanese folklore.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so
there's a sense of that we picked up early on. I mean, then again, I don't know enough of the lore of the Canthons to really say this, but there's a heavy sort of Asian
there's a heavy
Eastern
Chinese,
theme.
Chinese, Japanese kind of heavy influence over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even I was looking over the old Canthon script and stuff they have, and a lot of them actually do correspond a lot with real Chinese characters.
I mean, most people... I've had some small contact with people role-playing Canthon gangsters, actually, and there's a strong vibe of sort of, dare I say, even triadish sort of traits. The mixture of the tattoos, the markings, the actual way of talking. It's nice. I find it quite funny, actually, because I've seen your character on a number of occasions speaking Canthon, but, we can't actually type it, so we just put in brackets in Canthon, just for the sake of, so everyone knows what's going on. I love the fact your character says that, and... oddly, my character knows it too, which I'm really hoping leads to some funny moments when she says something and Gabriel replies in it, because I don't think anyone believes my character can actually speak another language, because he just seems so lucid all the time.
Well, yeah, so it was a bit interesting how I created my characters. Like, I think most of my characters are created on a whim. So, I'm pretty proud of how much I've actually enjoyed Hotaru. I didn't think I would enjoy her as much as I did. And, she's now kind of dominated my main character spot at the moment because of my roleplay partner for Meena has become sick in real life, so
Aw.
I haven't been able to.
We wish them a speedy recovery from here at the
Is he getting
podcast.
better?
So yeah, I'm enjoying getting to run around and annoy all the nobles and have people get angry at my character. for being
Infamous. Infamous as you are already. So they hear that,
I'm
folks.
trying to make
Early
a name
warning
for
now.
myself.
Out of character warning if you meet her around the streets. This is your warning right now.
It's okay. She's pissed off too many nobles already. She's already had one assassination attempt on her life. And that was also my first week of roleplaying her. She pissed
Goes.
off a noble character at a bar. Yeah.
A noble and Gin open a bar. One nearly gets assassinated.
Yeah. It's pretty much what happens. At this current event that I'm at the moment, which is a feast, she's actually spiked all the punch. And so what I've been doing while I've been doing this podcast is that anyone I see who's taking a drink, I let them know that I've spiked all the punch. And
Okay.
so...
Oh, why wasn't I there? That would be funny.
Gin is pretty much like everything should be fun and interesting.
She's a troll.
Yeah, she's a troll. She's an intentional troll, whereas Meena is not an intentional troll.
So it's more of a case of how to best put this to be really weird and go into my gifs very unoriginally. I mean, we'll say that Jin has the troll face and Meena just has the troll music playing in the background wherever she goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, moving on. I mean, you've already answered this, so I don't expect you to spend too long on this. But have you taken the characters outside the Ashenfold, 2RP, jesters? I mean, there's lots of communities out there, and you've even mentioned you've been messing around with the high society to their great dismay. It seems.
Yes, well, I've actually started an NGO myself. And I've just set it up as my character's noble family, the Gin family, the first main branch there. And what's happened is that I've only got three people playing actual relatives. One's a distant relative, and then there's me and my roleplay partner who plays the father, and then I play the daughter who's the heir. And I also have 7 player characters employed in the character business, because they're more of a I think it's a difference between, because there are different types of noble families. There are like the aristocrats, and then the kind of duke-like people.
That will be interesting to talk about in the high society next week as well, because I didn't realise it was such open submission of families. I mean, clearly you've actually made contact, of course. I mean, you've gone through all the proper channels. Because I didn't realise that.
So,
It'd be interesting to see that and read it. That'd be rather interesting.
Like, the Gin family is actually really open to Canthan characters. It isn't like a guild you have to apply to, it's just you kind of contact me on the Guild Wars 2 roleplay site and be like, hey, my character's Canthan, because they try to accommodate to people of their heritage, because they're a bit ethnocentric.
We got
That
blood,
way.
bro, that kind of...
Yeah, they're like,
we got the blood, bro.
we're the great Canthan people. We're one of the earliest human societies, and they're just
so on and so forth.
they just don't want to they don't want their people to look bad in this country, seeing as Emperor Usoku actually closed off the borders and kind of became very tyrannical. So they're trying to fix things, and they employ a lot of they employ pretty much only Canthans, and they employ anything from like bodyguards to like people who want to work on the plantations they own, and because they own the silk industry, this Canthan silk industry in Kryta and Ascalon.
Ooh. Always good. That's another thing I love about the originality of something. It's like, I mean, I've role-played for a while now, and I've never heard of anyone doing a silk plantation when it makes perfect sense. But in this setting, that's what I love about RP. This
And then
sort
they
of stuff
have
happens.
and then underneath the whole kind of structure of the business, you go down, every family has secrets.
Oh, hell yeah.
Every family. Every noble family has a hidden agenda. I'm not going to lie.
We of all people should know,
I'm
considering the
not
work we do
going
in
to
character.
I'm not going to deny out of character that the Gin family have a ring of assassins. Takayun. Working underneath the family.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's always handy to have around. Everyone has something in the closet. Everyone does.
And so they've pretty much got eyes and ears in places that most people don't. So yeah, they're trying to slowly buy over a lot of companies. They don't care really about politics, they just want money now. It's what they care about. They just want all the gold.
All about money.
Pretty much.
Well, scuttling along. What is the goal of these main characters? I must say, they're both very different people, and I can imagine very different goals. So what is it that you're hoping to achieve in character, and, well, frankly, out of character, for that matter?
What Meena, by herself, is trying to do is that she's trying to discover who she is as a person, because her identity has always been kind of clouded, and she never really understands what she has to do, and she wants to understand why things work. She just wants to know. Even though everyone kind of uses something to explain how everything works, like, oh, it's one of the gods that did it, it's the eternal alchemy, it's this. She wants to know why it's the eternal alchemy and how it works that way. She has to understand, like, she can't comprehend something without...
Again, we picked this up during Dark Onyx thing, is the idea of, like, the gods and the role they play, because, again, we are dealing with a setting in which it is near impossible to be an atheist, considering the fact that gods do actually have active influence. And so it is trying to explain things, the eternal alchemy, everything. It's all very important trying to think how your character coincides with that. I mean, for me, example, my character follows Lee, just because of the actual... concept of duality fits my character quite well, but at the same aspect, my character thinks that, if something miraculous happens, he'll either explain it away just by going, it happens. He doesn't go into great detail. So it's fantastic to see characters like yours who actually question why something happens and need to understand it, because that's the Surin nature almost. But the fact that your character's having this state of almost delusion on top of that, it's actually quite a strange concept of the idea that a broken mind trying to understand a fixed one. Am I getting that wrong, or is that's the way I'm seeing it?
It's kind of like trying to find out why everything has to happen, and why this had to happen to her, and why that had to happen to that thing. Like, she's trying to determine everything's existence, in a sense. Like, and then Gin is just trying to she's trying to play both roles, even though she can't. She's trying to play the role of both of her brother, who would still be alive, and herself. And she doesn't want... Because she's a female, she doesn't want her family line to end with her, because she is the heir of her family and she has no siblings. So she's trying to...
I'm very impressed by that. I mean, going down the typical route again, Game of Thrones... I like to think because of that, and also just people's standard OP, there's a lot of focus now on family lines and importance they actually hold. I mean, the nobles are doing to reach the high society is living evidence. I mean, this is the first time I have seen extensive family lines as such a critical point for everyone to roleplay. And your character's fascination with that, again, is such a fantastic aspect of why I love the setting.
The Gin family is actually about 11 generations long. It's quite a big family, and ever since they've been in Kryta, there's always been this fear that their blood's going to get mixed and everything's going to get ruined and everyone's going to forget their culture, kind of thing, because they might never ever see Kantha again.
Oh god, I see inbreeding on the horizon.
And so,
just saying.
So she wants to. She hated how she was raised. She hated not knowing anything about her parents, or knowing anything, or having to emotionally distance herself from that kind of society. But in her same part of, like, different part of her brain, she's also like, if I don't raise my kids that way, then their culture will be lost. Like, my family's culture will be lost. So she's kind of trying to fight the fact that she doesn't want to inflict, like, emotional torture on her own children when she has them at any point. But then the fact that she knows she should, because everyone in her family had to deal with it.
Makes sense. By contrast now, I'll move on to the next line of questioning, which I'm going to mix up a bit from the actual scheduled one, which is the actual Guild Wars 2 setting. What made you choose it? Is there any particular influence that why you liked it? And another important aspect, which I always love asking people, was your choice of class. Was it a hindrance or an actual advantage? Because as I've mentioned before in other podcasts, my character was originally based just on the elixir skill set, and everything grew from there. I'm wondering if it was a hindrance for you or a good thing. I mean, for example, the minions, she delusions herself to be a bouquet of flowers. I mean, was that always planned, or was it because you had to choose Necromancer? That kind of thing.
I think I planned to play Necromancer with Meena when I made her, because in games I'd always played the rogue like class. Like in Swiss War I played a assassin. And then in World of Warcraft I played PvP heavy rogues. So I wanted something different. And so I started Necromancer before I wanted to play Necromancer even as soon as I saw them. I was like, oh, that looks like fun. I'll play one of them. And then I kind of just worked it in to be like, it's something she probably shouldn't have researched at the age she was when she started researching into it. And she'd gotten too far into it to kind of stop. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how that happened. And then with Gin, it was a bit difficult because it was either going to be warrior or thief. And then when I read over the Canthan kind of history and the classes they had in Cantha, I saw Takahun, which was the assassin. The assassin class they had in Guild 1, and I thought that fit perfectly. But there was no assassin class here, so I went for thief because it had a similar kind of feel to it. So I wanted a class that didn't have magic because she doesn't have magic. So it kind of worked out that way.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I mean, it's considered an art of magic in itself, the whole shadow stepping, isn't it? I mean, I'm not very well versed in my lore when it comes to thieves, because I roleplay an engineer, and for me, all magic interaction has been in bottled form in alchemy.
Technically... Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go. Say what you were going to say. I don't want to cut in. Okay, fine, I'll continue.
The shadow stepping would be a form of magic, but yeah, go on.
Normally when I do roleplay out doing the stealth moves and stuff on Gin, I put an emote saying she throws down like a smoke bomb or etc. and then runs away.
I do like stuff like that when people actually make use of what they've got and add their own flair to it, because there's nothing that says you have to... well, the skill might have the same effect, but there's nothing saying you can't fluff things up a bit. For example, my character drinks his elixirs, and I say parts of his body like swell. God, that sounds dirty when I say it like that. I mean, like for example, he drank a very large quantity of elixir B, so I said that his arm and chest seemed to get a lot more muscular. You know, basically Venom style, for anyone who reads into Batman. So it's always good just to mix things up a little, just to explain things differently, depending how you see them, which is always good for a character. Adds the flair, makes them seem unique. Which I assume is what you did, isn't it? Because, like you said, you don't want to do the magic, so instead you use smoke bombs and the like.
Yeah, I've got a Razor Naga, and I've actually got macros on my mouse that set up that if I'm in the chat bar, I can press like 1 and it will type the whole like throws a smoke bomb. You know,
I really need to do that myself. I really do. Namely, remove snuff box, the most used bit of text I've used since joining RP.
I've got one as well, which is she throws a dagger aiming at your clothes to try and pin you down, because she can't. Because it's her specialty weapon is throwing knives, and so she uses them. And so I'll constantly be chasing people. Like she'll get bored and she'll be like, if she pisses someone off, she'll be like, run, and they'll run, and then she'll chase them and she'll try to catch them for fun.
Aw, cat and mouse.
Pretty much, except this cat has claws.
Oh wow!
Very, very durable ones.
Sorry, just a horrible image, and I used that line once in an RP. It was quite funny. Gabriel being his usual catty self, mentioning how Green was out of season, and then saying, "Yeah, see, this kitty got claws," in the most fey possible manner. I do love that. But moving on, into the last section. So, I mean, we've actually entered the sort of general Q&A thing, so is there anything particular you'd like to bring up or talk about? Or anyone else in the chat, for that matter? Is there anything particular, any burning questions, or just anything you'd like to highlight which you think's important?
Ask me your questions.
I might say this. Meena might get a new playmate with Rugar, but I don't know.
I really do want to have a slave for Meena. It would just make the perfect roleplay opportunities for her.
Shenanigans. I sent shenanigans.
Yeah, with somebody like Rugar with his intelligence level for a char, he's not entirely mentally handicapped in a way he is, but he's intelligent enough to take care of himself.
I'm assuming it's one of those characters that everyone says is really dumb and yet always seems to come out on top in situations.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh, he's such an idiot, yeah, at the end of it,
Rugar
he's in a really good position.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is with Rugar, usually a lot of the times he does not play with a full hand like everyone else does. He does not have a full hand like everyone else would on a poker table. He does not. But somehow, for some strange reason, he seems to just survive because of just how innocent he acts. And, well...
Underestimation. Dangerous thing.
Yes. What's really scary, though, is when he was in the Farrar, people harassed the crap out of him. And people picked on him, did all sorts of things because of his intelligence. But one of the Farrar cubs did make the mistake of actually trying to bully him into a corner, and that cub got the crap kicked out of him.
Everyone was like, whoa, dude. I mean, we never actually took it that far for a reason, dumbass. we took the mick out of him. We never crossed the line, dummy.
It's like... Rugar was even huge as a cub. He was one of those cubs you see in the Farrar and would just go, okay, I could probably pick on him, but I don't want to go in a hand-to-hand fight with him because of how
more wit-based. I can insult him because he might not understand it, but I wouldn't start a fight with him, sort of thing.
Exactly. That's the idea with Farrar is supposed to be a very light-hearted character, and with somebody like Meena, that complements it pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. I sent shenanigans.
Well, she's gonna make all the fun food for you to eat. And
I got my broom
if you've
ready.
heard
Don't declare
anything about
shenanigans.
her food, it's,
Hopefully they don't, torment the poor guy, but...
No. They won't make him do anything horrible. He might feel physically attracted to trees for 3 months, but
Only in Guild Wars 2, ladies and gentlemen. Only in this community.
That would be terrible. I could see something like Rugar doing something really stupid with a tree because of that.
yeah.
Oh
you
no,
said
that's
something
like so you like mudkits all over again.
Oh god. But you said something there, Sin? You kind of cut out. What was your burning question?
Shenanigans. Someone declared shenanigans. I'll get my broom.
Everyone get your brooms. Shenanigans have been declared. That needs to be an emote. Just hit it in just area chat, just alerts up. Shenanigans have been declared. Everyone get your broom.
Well, I take it you are from the great British colony of,
British colony? I have is Britain.
I'm from a British colony, technically.
Yeah, thank you. Well,
we still have the
Island,
Queen on our money. But
her face is on it. She owns it.
I try
Original gang
bringing
tag.
in a lot of light-hearted humour into all my role-playing. You
can't be serious all the time. I mean, this is the reason. I role-played for a while a very revenge-bent character, and after a while, it just got so soul-crushing. Oh.
Have you seen Black Books?
Oh yes.
Okay, you know the scene where they wash his suit, and it comes out
God.
white.
Just the dire humour of it all.
I keep trying to make the joke to a lot of characters who just wear black, especially Toxa, that if he washed his suit, it would probably come out white with how dirty it is. But
that's amazing.
He didn't get the reference until I showed him the clip.
It's like one of the best scenes.
It is!
It's disgusting is what it is.
Who bathed me? Who cleaned my house?
Yeah,
What happened to my clothes?
Love that reaction. Who cleaned me? Some people just do not pay attention to their
who
cleanliness.
shaved me as well? It was great.
It's the image of just shaving him while he's unconscious.
Shave the cheerleader, shave the world.
Some people really need to pay more attention to their cleanliness. I mean, there's one thing you say about Gabriel: he's always well dressed and well groomed. Granted, half naked, but still well groomed. Well, that permitting, I do think we are at the end of the hour that has been another AshenCast.
Yeah.
You've made your way through, ladies and gentlemen, and I salute you. So, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week for an interview with the High Society. Well, 2 weeks' time. I do have a schedule to keep and university to attend. But until then, darlings, it's been an utter pleasure. I'd just like to say good night and have a wonderful day, depending on your time zone. And just like to say goodbye, and allow my guests to say the same. Say goodbye, everyone.
Later!
Good night.
Don't let the char bite, man.
Wait.
Cheerio!
They bite.
Have a good next until the next one. Yeah. So socially awkward.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an AshenCast, and we, your host, a gentleman of leisure, who now reclines upon his divan, knowing another job well done. Now, Sybil, the brandy.
The brandy must be served!
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
You mean shenanigans?
Oh!
You're talking about shenanigans, right?